So give me 2 seconds, let me sweet talk on this.
What's up, everyone? Today is September 27th. It's a Monday, so new day to the last trading week of September. September was very, very tough. I'm not gonna lie. August was also very, very tough. I did end up making money both months, a decent amount. It wasn't too much. It was close to like 2 or 3 grand between the last 2 months. But that's okay. I'm still going with relatively small size. Market conditions have been shitty. But now that this is just a little bit backstory before I get into my trade recap. But now that I believe that they've moved the tapering news to next year, buyers are not worried anymore. Tapering was one of the main things which were stopping us from moving higher, and now that that's clear, or not clear, but now that's moved to next year, bulls can really move us higher without any worry. So in my opinion, we should see a very, very strong Q4, a very bullish, strong Q4, and a lot of the plays that we take are going to have a lot of follow through. Okay, so I took one trade today, one trade only. That trade was on NVDA. So I really wanted to make a trade recap today because I typically do not play trades out of supply and demand. However, I will play them when everything aligns up, and that was the case today. So what do I always do? I start with the higher time frame and I go to a blank chart. So let me go ahead and do that first. So let's say create drawing set. Okay, so always start off with a blank chart. Let's see what NVIDIA is doing on a higher time frame. So NVIDIA, AMD both had this massive rally up. We're consolidating for a while, dipped, and this is what I really, really liked. This gave me a lot of conviction today. Notice what happened when we dipped. Buyers bought the dip immediately, right? So this right here is very, very bullish. Look at how NVIDIA is hanging out near its highs when you compare it to something like maybe ES, where ES, on the other hand, is nowhere close to its highs yet. I think it's the same story with NQ. So NQ is nowhere near its highs yet, technically still in a downtrend on a shorter term. So NVIDIA is clearly bullish. NVIDIA is one of the stronger names. So that's why I was focused on finding a play on NVIDIA. So let's just go ahead and draw some zones. I see daily demand right here. This is a play I actually took today out of daily demand. Let's go to 4 hour. Don't really see much. 3. Nothing here. You have this supply here, but it's a really, really weird supply. I wouldn't mark it. 2, nothing. 90 minute. 1 hour. 45. Okay, so I would mark this as 45-minute supply. It is a gap supply, but this still is valid supply. Let's go ahead and mark that up. So now I have all my supply and demand zones drawn. What does this basically tell me? It just gives me the context of what's going on, where are institutions placed in the market. So I know that there were institutions placed here, and there's a possibility for institutions to be placed up here, but notice that we don't have any supply zones above this, so NVIDIA, once it breaks this zone, looks good to move higher. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw some levels. So as always, I'm going to draw my levels on a 1 hour time frame. So the levels I draw are major levels. What areas am I interested in taking major breakouts of? So the main level which comes to mind is this right here. So this is a very, very clear wedge, 1, 2, and 3 touches right here. So, my bad. So from a level or a breakout perspective, my plan is to take a break of this wedge, front running the all-time high break. So, all-time high breaks have a lower chance of working out. So if I take it at the wedge targeting all-time high, that would be a very, very good play. So this is a play I'm interested in, which has not set up yet. So when this play does happen, I will be one of the first people to capitalize on it. But based off of my strategy, I can trade both breakouts and zones. So why was I focused on NVIDIA daily demand today? I'm not focused on a lot of demand zones, but this was one of the first zones I was focused on. And the reason for that basically came from the higher time frame analysis. Look how NVIDIA has been holding value near its highs, right? We had a dip, buyers bought the dip, we gapped down, and those buyers who bought us up should buy us up again. So now I'm going to go through some other names. Roku, right? So I wouldn't really be interested in playing demand zones from Roku just because Roku is weaker on a higher time frame. It's nowhere near its all-time highs. If I go to another name like Amazon, Amazon is nowhere near its all-time highs either. So playing demand zones on stocks which aren't strong are lower probability. Let's go to AMD. AMD is starting to catch momentum again. Microsoft, not yet. Maybe like a name like Google. Google's been holding value nicely. Boeing, for instance, right? Oh, Boeing also caught momentum. Just trying to find something. Okay, Facebook, for example, right? I wouldn't be interested in playing demand out of Facebook just because it's weaker than a lot of these other stocks. But Nvidia, on the other hand, showed me that buyers had bought the dip and were interested in it. So that was my first confirmation on a higher time frame. So now let's go down to an intraday time frame where we can talk about the intraday confirmations and also just go over not only the intraday confirmations, but where exactly entered, entries, exits, and all of that. Okay, yes, let's go NQ. Okay, so what did I see right off of the open? I saw Nvidia sell off aggressively, right? So if you trade from a contextual perspective, or even if you don't trade like a contextual trader, it's very, very important to have a solid contextual understanding of the market. So Nvidia is moving down very, very aggressively, right? We had 1, 2, and 3 pretty aggressive candles to the downside. So what I had noticed was, okay, there's going to be a lot of retail traders wanting to go short on Nvidia. But what these retail traders fail to understand is that we have daily demand here. And all daily demand is a very, very powerful price imbalance where institutions have unfilled buy orders. So as soon as we dip into this demand zone, it is not enough for me to take the play initially. I will only take demand zones, and this is something if people want to write down or something, I'm only going to take demand zones if the market aligns up with my play as well. So yes, NVIDIA is entering daily demand, but what are SPY and Qs doing? That is very, very important to focus on. So let's go over to SPY first. What did we do on this third candle? So I'm only going to show you as much data as I had when I entered NVIDIA. So this is all the data I had going into NVIDIA. 3 candles. So what did I see from SPY? I saw SPY dip below pre-market low. So a lot of retail traders probably took the pre-market low breakout, and then we immediately got bought back up. So what is that telling me? That's telling me that buyers do not want us to head lower in the present moment. So us seeing this lower wick below pre-market low, let me know that there are buyers interested on SPY, which is a good sign, but that's still not enough. So let's move on to QQQ now. 3 candles. I saw QQQ sell off pretty aggressively, but where do we sell off into? This was 1 hour demand, which I don't have marked up, but this is 1 hour demand. So as soon as we enter 1 hour demand, buyers buy us up immediately. That's demonstrated by this lower wick right here, because lower wicks indicate buying pressure. So not only did SPY bounce from pre-market low, okay, that's the first confirmation. The second confirmation was NQ bounced from 1 hour demand. The third confirmation was NVIDIA had a lower wick inside of demand. The fourth confirmation was pretty high volume. The fifth confirmation was this zone having a high probability of working out because on the higher time frame, there were buyers interested on NVIDIA. So every single factor aligned up for me to take this play. So as soon as this next candle opened, I entered right here. I entered 7 contracts at 1.3 something. So now that I kind of went over NVIDIA, I broke it down from the higher time frame. I'm going to spend a majority of this video focusing on some psychological lessons. So there are a lot of potential psychological mistakes that a lot of newer traders could have made. The first mistake was they never entered the play. So I'm going to cover a lot of psychological things which could have prevented newer traders who identified this in real time but failed to execute. So one thing I hear a lot is they were hesitant to take the play. And my response to that is it's not going to change. It's going to be the same every single time. You need to figure out why exactly were you hesitant to play. Was it because you were afraid to lose money on it? Was it because you were not confident in the play? So my biggest two things to that are size the fuck down. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Sorry if I'm being a bit too aggressive, but I really want to drill this in the head of a lot of newer traders. Size the fuck down if you are hesitant to enter the market. And the reason why most people are hesitant to enter is because they're afraid of losing money, right? So I played 7 contracts of NVDA. I entered with over $1,000 position size, but I was comfortable with my position size because a couple of months ago I was playing 1 or 2 contracts, or I was playing 1, 2, 3 contracts. I would be making $50. I would be losing $20, $25, right? So making or winning $20 to $25, losing $20 to $25, or making $50 had no effect on my account size. And psychologically, because I know the money would not affect my account size, the decisions I was able to make came purely from the chart and not emotions. So if you're going in with 20, 30 contracts and you're hesitant to play, then that means that you're not accepting to lose the money that you've invested. So I played 7 contracts and I was willing to lose anywhere from $100 to $150 on this play. And that, or not 100, 150, it was closer to like $60 or $70 on this play. So I've accepted that, worst comes to worst, I lose $60 to $70 on this play. So the question is, so what if I lose $60 to $70? I know this is a high probability trade. I know that I need to put risk on the table to make money. If you do not risk anything, you are not going to make money. The second potential error are people just not confident in your play. If you aren't confident in a play, in my opinion, you shouldn't take it. But in this case, every single factor lined up. In my opinion, there was no reason to sell. There was no reason to not take this trade at all. Another issue I see, this comes from a lot of traders, is that they will just stop out. I entered right here. Where is my stop loss? My stop loss needs to be in a place which makes logical sense. So my understanding was, okay, if we have a 5-minute candle close below low of day, so keep in mind how I said 5-minute candle close. If we do move below low of day and then buyers buy us up, then it could just be a low of day fail inside of demand, which is very, very bullish. But if we have a 5-minute candle close below this trend line or below low of day, then I will stop out. That lets me know that buyers are not interested. This zone has a lower chance of working out, and buyers are not as interested in NVIDIA as I initially thought they were. So, if I'm going through NVIDIA real time, the emotions which I see a lot of newer traders potentially making is, oh shit, I'm up money. Wait, now I'm down money. Now I'm up money again. Oh no, I need to stop out. I'm negative on this trade now, right? But how does that make any sense when we never breached low of day? All buyers were doing here, or all institutions were doing here, were accumulating their orders for a bigger move up. So that's why I never stopped out, because as I said before, my stop was a 5-minute candle close below low of day. So tying back into the next psychological point, you need to respect your stop loss and your profit targets. There were no major red flags in this play, even though it did take a bit of time to work out. So there was no reason to stop out just because it was taking a lot of time. So respect your stop loss, respect your targets, and you will pretty much be rewarded in the future. So then NVIDIA took off, right? And this is another mistake I see traders making. As soon as we have this push up, they're up 30, 40 cents on their contracts. What are they going to do? They're going to sell their entire position here, right? So I see a lot of newer traders selling their entire position on the first push up. So my question to you is, why would you sell your entire position here on NVIDIA when you missed out on a couple of an extra $2 or $3. In this case, it wasn't too much, but NVIDIA could have easily broken high of the day and filled the gap. But my question to newer traders is, just because you are up money does not mean that you have to sell. And this goes back to the stop loss thing. You need to respect your plan. You need to put the money aside. Um, you need to understand that if you do sell too early, then your risk to reward is not 1 to 1. I was risking about about $1 to make a potential $4, and I was able to catch $4 by risking $1. But say you entered at 214 and you sell at 215, right? And your stop loss is 213. So now your risk to reward is 1 to 1. And now you need to be right more than half of the time to be consistently profitable. So the main thing I'm coming off with point 2 and 3 is do not sell too quickly. It just doesn't make any sense risk to reward wise. But yeah, I think those were the main psychological tips and just the main errors I saw from today. I had a lot of people in the main chat doubting me, saying that, oh, NVIDIA is a bear flag heading lower, and it could have easily been a bear flag heading lower. However, I knew what my stop was, right? And that's why I was not worried for a single second. In fact, for the majority of this trade through this consolidation period, I was on call with my friends. I was flipping through other names. I was listening to music. I was just having a good time, and I really wasn't too focused on what the chart was doing. I know that's not like the best mentality, because you always need to be focused while trading. But essentially, I was just having a fun time trading today, and the only reason why is because I knew that if I was wrong, I was losing 40-50 bucks, right? And me losing 40-50 bucks on a very, very high probability trade is, in my opinion, nothing, because with a grand position size, losing 50 bucks is what, 5% of the position. Um, so I hope this video helps you in some way. I think I did a pretty clear job breaking down NVIDIA from the higher time frame, and then just spending 7 to 8 minutes just going over a lot of the psychological errors which I see newer traders making. But anyway, September's ending. Let's try to close this month strong. Remember, September is a tougher month, so you do not need to overtrade. Just stay patient. Opportunities will come to you, and hopefully in October we have a much better month.